Hi, I'm Nathan Pearl. We're over here in No Greater Joy Studios. Today we're going to be shooting an article that Amber wrote called To the Girls. It's about her going to the jail ministry with my daughter and what she's learned there. So first we'll have Amber read in the article. Go ahead.
So it's a chilly Monday morning. My hands cradle the coffee cup as I try to calm my nerves. I've repeated this process dozens of times. Yet I can't stop the pounding in my heart when the alarm goes off at precisely 9:30 a.m. It's time to go to jail. My name is Amber, and this is my testimony. In the last 13 years, God has taken me on an incredible journey, and it would be remiss of me not to share it with you. And this one's for the girls. If you are finishing up high school or feel immobilized and are waiting for the next step in your life, I want to encourage you, and as you begin this next chapter. And let's start at the beginning. It was 2011, and I was 17 years old. It was graduation year for me. And like any proper homeschooler, I grew up conservative, where there was a particular mindset for young women and girls to be running a household and raising a family by the time we reached our 20s. Well, that wasn't the case for me. I grew up in the country and learned to work hard and diligently alongside my family. I am so thankful for the knowledge I've acquired from them. But as time marched on, I was no longer satisfied waiting at home. And please don't misunderstand. My family is amazing. I could go on all day about how awesome they are and how much I enjoy them. But that would be my parents' life. I needed my life to start. I needed to graduate. With my future looking a little different than I expected, I shared with my parents the restlessness and the unexplainable urge I possessed to do something with my life. I wanted it to be something meaningful that would impact not only me, but others as well. Then Costa Rica happened. I wasn't planning for it, wasn't even looking for it, but I was looking for something, and God provided. A family friend from long ago contacted my older sister and me to see if we would be interested in joining them on a week-long missions trip to Costa Rica. I was beyond thrilled. It was an answer to prayer and to the unshakable voice that I wouldn't let go. I had already done extensive traveling, and my passport was ready for another stamp. I didn't know yet, though, that it wasn't going to be the stamp or the gorgeous countryside that was going to change my life. That week in Costa Rica was indescribable, so I won't bother with the details. But I will tell you that my brief experience there taught me more about Jesus and his love than anything else ever had. The time flew by too quickly, and I found myself leaving reluctantly. I told the woman who operated the home to give me a call if she ever needed more help. But at that time, there wasn't a need, and that just about broke my heart. I returned home and went about life again, including back to my job as a substitute teacher. But the yearning I felt only grew stronger, and I needed a change. I just didn't know where to go. I had no clear direction, no plan, just a feeling that wouldn't go away. And then, as always, God provided, and I received a call, and man, was I thrilled to see the caller ID was a Costa Rican number. The woman on the other end asked if I was ready to come back, this time saying it was staying for the whole summer. And I'm sure you can guess my response. I told my parents about the call, and all they said was, "When do you leave?" And the answer, 2 weeks. I halted my teaching position and happily put all my savings toward a ticket that would carry me to where I would spend the next 3 months of my life. My time in Costa Rica was not something that could be considered good by normal standards. The days were long, making more rice than I cared to see in a lifetime, and exhausting my social battery with needy people. There were late nights cleaning the kitchen after the kids went to bed, cold showers and earthquakes. And then there were the times that I would sit in my room and cry, trying to process what the children confided in me and what they had gone through. But God doesn't have normal standards. When I felt at my lowest, he comforted me. When I couldn't go any further, he carried me. When I couldn't find the words, he spoke through me. I learned things there in my weakness and my uncertainty that I could never have learned at home. And it was hard, and it was good. I ended up going to Costa Rica for 2 summers. And while I can't share every lesson I learned there, I can share one. God never wanted me to be comfortable, because if I were comfortable, I wouldn't have gone to Costa Rica. And I wouldn't understand the depth and the power and the beauty of Jesus and his love to the degree that I do now. And I probably wouldn't have received a phone call from Debbie Pearl asking me to work full-time at No Greater Joy. And I certainly wouldn't be on my way to jail. And yes, we're back to that now. It's present day, and I am anxious. I drive until I make that final turn into the Perry County Jail and go through the familiar process. I park, sign in at the door, make small talk with the secretary, and try in vain to quiet my nerves. I approach the looming security doors and pray earnestly to God to soften the hearts of the women inside. I ask him to calm my heart, give me the words I should say, and shut my mouth so I don't say something I shouldn't. Because you see, I'm here on a mission to share Christ with anyone who will listen. I go through the final door. My heart is thudding as it clangs shut behind me, leaving me alone inside. I continue praying as I move about the room, setting up, getting out my Bible, and waiting. The women begin to file in, and of course, there are nearly twice as many as usual. And the CO locks the door behind them, leaving me in a room full of women waiting to hear what I have been preparing throughout the week to share with them. And if you know me at all, you know I'm not the kind of person to lead even 2 people in conversation, let alone spend an hour sharing the word with almost 10. I take a deep breath, open us up in prayer, and start the review of last week's lesson. We are going through Romans right now, and everyone knows the first 2 chapters are a little rough to get through. And just as God intended, they let you know soundly and thoroughly that you are a sinner and worthy of hell. But as we begin to read through it, my hands shake with excitement. But now, we read in Romans 3:21, the righteousness of God without the law is manifested. And this is shouting material. As I lead the girls through this miraculous gift that the Almighty has given us, I realize I don't feel scared and unworthy anymore. My body vibrates with excitement as I share Jesus and his blood. My encouragement to you is this: fill life with growing experience. Pursue something challenging and meaningful and come away more confident and closer to God because of it. Take advantage of whatever time you have as a single woman and learn to love life and live it. God gave us this life, and I fully believe he wants us to thrive in it, not just exist, waiting for something that may never happen. Seek the Lord for guidance, and you will find a lot of things that don't work, but keep trying. We spend our lives anticipating the big moments, not realizing we measure them by the inconsequential ones. Waiting to finish school, waiting for a husband, waiting for babies, waiting for them to grow. As you wait in those moments, fill that time with something meaningful. Grow, touch people's lives, make an impact for God's kingdom. God has a plan for your life, and it won't look the same as others. Following Jesus has been the most incredible journey, and I wouldn't be able to do the things I do if it weren't for taking that first step. Jesus wants us to wait on him, and this is true, but he also wants us to seek him. Girls, we all start somewhere, but are we going somewhere? Whether you're just finishing high school, in the beginning stages of dating, or you are still waiting for your life to start and don't have a clue, don't waste the time you have now. Spend it wisely.
Wow. Thank you, Amber. That is an incredible article, and I feel like it really does speak to a group of young ladies that want to serve God, and they really want to serve God as mothers and as wives, and yet God is ready to use us where we're at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paul said, I wish everybody was single so they could work for God full time, and it's a hard path.
Yes, very hard.
But look at what God's done through you, done in you, and blessed you with. I think I'm encouraged, honestly, every Monday when you girls go to the jail, and where people are like, "Where's Amber?" And I'm like, "Her and my daughter went to jail." I think it's awesome that's the case. So I want to ask you guys some questions about the process, because we really do. We have readers, we have friends that are out there that have grown up hearing about No Greater Joy, and they're looking for ministry. What does that look like? And it's intimidating.
Oh, very
right?
intimidating. Yes.
So how do you get to that place? How do you get to where you actually show up at jail? Do you just like throw a brick through a window? No, don't
do
nobody
that.
does that.
You'll end up in jail.
Wrong kind of going to jail.
And I'll see you on Monday.
So how did you get started?
So it was actually not something I was looking for at all, which is a lot of the ministries that have come up in my life, is that Adam actually emailed me one day when I was actually home on vacation, and he's like, my mother-in-law and I are doing a Christmas card for the people in jail. Would you like to help with that? And I was like, oh, sure. At this point, I had worked with Adam for over 2 years, and I had never even thought about his recovery group or his jail ministry. And so then I got to working with Mrs. Sarah, and we just hit it off really well. And she's like, I go to jails on Monday. Would you like to go with me? And I'm like, well, what do you do? She's like, I have a Bible study with the girls. And that just intrigued me. I was like, whoa. I was like, I didn't know people really did that. I had never thought about a ministry going into the jails. And so I said yes. And I was super nervous, though, because I was like, I don't know what to expect at all. Never stepped foot inside of a jail, much less getting stuck in a room with inmates. It's very intimidating. But I guess how it starts is that you just have to be willing to go when an opportunity comes up. I wasn't looking for it, but Miss Sarah's like, would you like to go? She's like, I think you'd be a really good fit. So just having, I think, people in your life that know your walk with God and how you handle different situations, they're like, I think that person would be a good fit. And so then they introduce you to that. And if you're willing to go, God's going to use it.
Yeah. One of my favorite missionaries, I went to this conference, actually met my wife at the conference. He used to say that God uses people that are already doing something.
Right.
And he would say, if you think that God might want you to do something, get up and run. And if you hit a brick wall and fall down, get up and run into it again until God either opens a door or points you at a different wall, and then run that way.
I like that.
And, yeah, he was a go-getter. So, Ashley, how did you get started with Amber?
I got started actually probably my first week here. And I'd heard about it before I moved here even. I was coming to work at NGJ, and I knew that you worked here, and you had told me about her, and you're like, okay, this girl, Amber, she goes to the jail on Mondays. You need to go with her. You would love it. And I'd be like, that sounds, like your word, intriguing.
Yeah.
It sounds intriguing and intimidating. And the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, okay, I have to go. Like, she can't just go and me stay here while she goes. And so the first Monday, we actually really clicked while we talked about it the whole way up there, and we prayed, and I was shaking a lot when we go in, and we go through the doors, and it was an incredible experience. I got to watch her teach for the first time, and we went through Romans, and you don't think about the inmates in the jails that often when you think about, oh, I'm going to go be a missionary, I'm going to go share the gospel. It's like, let's go overseas, let's go to Africa, And then you go in, and there's people that are like right here in our county, just a couple miles from where we live, and they got to hear the gospel like for an hour, and they got to listen to Romans, and we got to pray with them, and we sang songs with them, and it just changed the way that I thought about evangelism. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So one of the things for you guys that are watching this that you need to know is that when you think about ministry, you think about, okay, well, I'm going to go to Costa Rica. You think about the people that you're going to go to. Listen, the person that's going to change is you. God wants 100%. To do something in your life, and he wants to do it not by you sitting on a couch, sitting in your kitchen table, waiting for God to change you. He wants to do it when you say, God, I'm giving you my all. I'm going to do what you want me to do because I love you. Not because I love the people at Costa Rica or jail. You don't even know them yet. But because I love you, God.
Yeah.
And then God's going to work in your life. If you listen to the testimony of these girls, it's them who are God's moving in a miraculous way. And God's desire for us is to go from where we're at to closer to him. That's what we're here for. We're here to grow in the image of Christ. What did Christ do?
Exactly.
He preached the gospel to the poor.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys get to do. You get to preach the gospel to the poor.
It's amazing.
So, what an encouragement. So we're going to sign off here. Ladies, I'm so proud of you both. I'm so encouraged to work with you and to see what God's doing in your life. And for those of you that are watching this, be certain that God's got something for you. And if you haven't read this article, sign up for our magazine, nogreaterjoy.org. Sign up for that magazine and get it and read this article. And then pray about what God can do, what you can do for God where you're at with the people that you're around. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here at No Greater Joy Studios next time. I'm Nathan Pearl. We'll see you back.